Hello everyone, Neorashi here. A couple weeks ago, I made a top 20 manga, uh, my top 20 series of manga among the series that I own. Today I'm going to do the same, except because it's Pride Month, I'm going to go with only Yuri slash Girl Love stories. Again, it's only among the series that I own, so there's probably going to be a couple series that you know of that I missed. Also, I have over 1900 books across probably 250 series, if not more. So, yeah, I have a lot. Yuri aren't the series that I have the most volumes of. Uh, but there's a lot of Yuri that I own, and many that I love, many that I like. I actually had kind of a hard time making this top 20. But yeah, anyway. Uh, so before I start the actual top 20, I'm gonna make a single honorable mention. And the reason it's an honorable mention is because there is a pretty important character in this series that is lesbian, but it's not actually Yuri. And that would be. Oops, it's upside down. That would be New Game. New Game is my top 5 series of all times. Basically, third. It was my third place in manga, and it's my fifth place when it comes to animes. So, yeah. For those who don't know, New Game is not considered a girl love, but there is a pretty significant character uh, that is a woman that loves another woman. And there are some like Yuri tones between some character, but not full on like romance. So I guess I understand why some people would call this one Yuri, but it isn't. It doesn't focus on romance at all. But it's still an interesting read if you like any kind of LGBT themes, I guess. Okay, so let's go with the actual top 20 because I don't want to make another like 4 minutes intro like I did last time. And top 20 will go to Futari Escape. I actually really love that one, but the reason it's so low is it doesn't feel like a Yuri. Like uh, a lot. This series is classified as girl love in, I believe, both Anime Planet and My Anime List, but it really doesn't feel like it. The two girls definitely get along fine, um, but there is no romance at all involved. Like I finished, I actually read all 4 volumes, and even by the end, I was like, "Where's the girls' love?" It's like just two roommates having fun together. Yeah, but it was really good, so I still decided to put it in my top 20, albeit at the last place. Um, 19th place, I'm probably gonna be crucified for this because I know it's a beloved series. Blooming to You. Um, I loved it, obviously, otherwise it wouldn't have been in my top 20. Uh, but I seriously think it's overrated. It is good, it is really good, but it is not the masterpiece that some people claim it is. Uh, Thought there was too much focus on the play. Like they start mentioning the play, I believe, in volume 2, and it ends at volume 6. So there was too much focus on that. Even though I understand the reason why it was so important, it almost felt like uh, the actual romance was put aside for much of that time, except for the part where Tuko keeps kissing uh, you. But yeah, yeah, it was good as I said, but overrated. Definitely not as great as I had hoped. Especially since I actually got this one because of the hype when I heard it was like one of the best Yuri of all time. I got this series shortly after I got into Yuri. I got into Yuri like in November 2020, and I started this series in December, like a couple weeks after. 18th place, that would be Failed Princesses. This one I really liked, but the reason why I'm putting it so low in my top 20 is because the ending was kind of shit. Like, it wasn't bad, but it felt rushed like hell. And yeah, that kind of ruined the end. That kind of ruined the series for me. Like, when I read volume 5, I was like, oh my god, finally. But then I read volume 6, and yeah, no, ending was ruined, I think. But the overall series, especially I'd say the first 3 volumes were really good. Volume 4 and 5 were not as good, but still pretty good. But volume 6, I believe, ruined most of the stories. At 17th place, the first really ecchi one. Does it count if you lose your virginity to an android? This one was weird, but in a funny way. And I just love how, like, the android really wants the main protagonist to be its master, and like they do sexy stuff and stuff like that. I haven't gotten too far. I think I read only the first 2 volumes, but really enjoying it so far. Definitely not something I would read in public though, because it's definitely really heavy on the fan service. But still, pretty alright if you like ecchi stuff. Next is I Married My Female Friend, which I recently discovered, well, 6 months ago, I guess. Was pretty good. I've read only volume 1, although I did check a bit of volume 2. I actually like the concept that at first they married together, like, as part of a deal, kind of, but it's clear that they're becoming closer as the story progresses. So I kind of like that idea personally. And the art style is pretty cute as well, despite the character, like, for adult character, the character looked surprisingly cute. I like the art style. 15th place would be Catch These Hands. This is a Yuri that has focus a lot more on comedy, but there is still quite a lot of romance. I mean, romance gets into the story right from like chapter 1 or 2, but from there it's a mix of romance and comedy, but more about comedy, except maybe for the last volume. I really like this one. Kind of like stories about delinquents in general, not just Yuri, but yeah, I kind of like this. Like Super Gals. This is not Yuri, but Super Gals is another series featuring delinquent that I really liked. So at 14th place, the 2 of them are pretty much like this. This one I really like as well. However, I would say that the ending was not great. I wouldn't say it didn't ruin the story as much as Failed Princesses did. But something I disliked is that they brought a character that is struggling with gender identity. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. The bad thing is that this character was brought way too late into the story, and it was never like really like that person's arc was not like concluded. It was left like unfinished, and this is something that I kind of dislike, and it felt out of place because the whole series before volume 4 was super chill, super laid back, and then volume 4 suddenly includes that. Again, nothing wrong about that. It's the way it was introduced that I didn't like it. If it was introduced like in volume 2 or 3 and then solved in volume 4, that would have been great. But the way it was introduced was pretty bad, and yeah, volume 4 was by far the worst volume sadly. It ended on a pretty sour note. Uh, well, not the overall story, but like the way it was told. The ending is still happy for the two main protagonists, but not for the character that they introduced. If it was like, if the character was a villain or something, maybe I would have understood that that person doesn't get a happy ending. But it was a genuinely nice person. So having a genuinely nice person not having their personal arc concluded was a bit of a bad move, if you ask me. Now at 13th place, oh, yeah, Anna and Ina After School. I really like Milk Morinaga's art style. Volume 1 and 2 were great. I actually haven't gotten to read Volume 3 yet, but it is one of the cuter Milk Morinaga manga that I know of. Not the best, but if you prefer cute stories and like Milk Morinaga's manga, this one is definitely one that I would recommend. Volume 3, however, is like super hard to get. I actually had to last year, or was it 2 years ago? No, last year, 7 Seas actually reprinted the entire series, and even then, Volume 3 is already out of print. I managed to snag a copy, and I wanted to buy another copy to send to a friend with who I gave Volume 1 and 2, and yeah, couldn't do it because now it's like several $100s to get a copy of Volume 3. It's insane. Alright. But yeah, really good Yuri if you like cute series, and as I said, Milk Morinaga's manga in general. At 12th place, Goodbye My Rose Garden. This one I just loved it because it's a Yuri that basically takes place in our world, but not in the modern day. So I kind of like the change of pace, and the two main characters, the English aristocrat and her Japanese maid, are both really interesting and super cute. Actually, I really like both of them. And at 11th place, something I actually reviewed earlier today, assuming you watch both of my videos the day they are uploaded. Citrus. This was my very first, in terms of anime, it was my very first anime series, and it was one of my first manga, Yuri manga, and I just made a mistake. I meant anime series, but it was one of my first Yuri anime. It was my first anime Yuri anime, and one of my first Yuri manga. It's a bit heavy on drama, especially towards the end. But overall, I really like the interactions between Yuzu and Mei. I can definitely understand why some people would be turned off by it, because there are stepsister, like not like blood related, but I know some people don't like romance involving like siblings, even though they're not blood related, and this is definitely understandable. But if you can get past that, that's a really good Yuri. Art style is really nice. One of my favorite art style for Yuri manga ever. Okay, so we're now in the top 10, and for 10th place we have another Milk Morinaga story, Girlfriends. This one I really liked. I like how the two characters aren't immediately in love with one another. Like, they actually both get a boyfriend at some point, but the boyfriends are not important, and they realize as the story progresses, they realize that they really love each other, and that's something that I really like. It is the last volume is really heavy on fan service, so I guess the first 4 volumes are alright to read in public, but volume 5, sorry, well, volume 2 if you read the omnibus books, is really heavy on fan service, so something I might not want to read in public. But it's really nice. The drama is not. There is some drama, but it's nothing too crazy. Less crazy than Citrus or You'll See What's my third place. I think it has a good balance of romance, drama, and even a little bit of comedy. Not a lot, but like just enough to keep the mood like upbeat, at least. Alright, at ninth place, Our Wonderful Days. This one, basically, if you like Yuri in general, and if you like something chill like Non Yuri, this one is for you. It's basically Non Yuri if Otaru actually confessed to her senpai, and if the character were a bit older. It sadly only has 3 volumes, which is kind of lame. I kind of wish there was at least one more volume when we see like the character progress as a couple. But of all Yuri manga that only has 3 or 4 volumes, this is not the best, but like one of the really good ones. And the art style is nice too. Alright, at 8th place, the Kaze-san series. This one is just super cute. There is quite a bit of drama, but it's always like resolved within the same volume it's introduced. In some way it can be repetitive because especially for the original series, not the sequel series Kaze-san and Yamada, but for the original series I'd say the flow is extremely repetitive. It's basically always the same, except with like new subjects and whatnot. But overall, super cute series. I really like both characters. It does have that whole trope that I don't like, the whole "oh, but we're both girls" things from Yamada herself. This is an overused trope that I used to think it's funny when I first read this one, but there are now so many Yuri manga that uses this trope that it's actually getting pretty annoying. But yeah, I tolerate this one because it was one of the first series that I've read that follows this trope. At 7th place, you might call me a hypocrite for this one, but I would say Futaribeya, A Room for Two. The reason why you might call me a hypocrite for this one is because I said that Futari Escape didn't feel like a Yuri. I would argue that this one is similar in a lot of ways, in the way that there isn't actual romance involved with the 2 main characters. But unlike Futari Escape, this one you really feel like the 2 characters are soulmates, even though they're not romantically involved with one another. It feels like they're basically partner in life, and personally that's good enough for me, and definitely good enough for most people who read this series. Also, it's super cute, no drama, love the art style. I'm not a huge fan of how Yukiko tend to like chibify every single chapters, but I guess it works with the kind of character the series has. I know I've read some of her other work and she doesn't chibify everything, but for this one, surprisingly, it works. So yeah, I liked it. 6th place goes to I Don't Know Which Is Love. This is another series that is pretty heavy on fan service so far, at least. I've only read volume 1 and 2. Something I didn't notice until a friend of mine pointed it out is that each of the girls, the main character as potential lover, represent one of the 5 human sense, and I only noticed it after I read volume 1, and I thought that was a pretty interesting concept. So there are only a handful of harem series that I can say I legitimately like, that would be one. The other one would be the 100 Girlfriends series, but that's not a Yuri. Um, so yeah, Volume 1 didn't have any drama whatsoever, so definitely a huge plus for someone who like doesn't like drama at all. Well, I don't mind drama, but you know, I don't like when it's the main focus. And at fifth place, we're now in the top 5, I believe. Yeah, yeah, top 5. Fifth place is another series from the same mangaka as I Don't Know Which Is Love, and that would be Cheerful Amnesia. Well, I think it's the same mangaka. Yeah, it is. This one feels. This one is like just super cute. Like the girl wakes up after losing the memory of her last 3 years in life, and she immediately falls in love with the girlfriend she used to have before losing memory, and she immediately agrees to live with her, which was funny and cute. The drama is really light. Volume 1 didn't have any drama at all. Volume 2 there is a little bit of drama in Volume 2, but it was resolved pretty quickly. It was surprising. It led to a pretty cute scene. Yeah, if you like cute Yuri, this is one that I would suggest. Now at fourth place, and the last of the non-mystery manga, because you probably know what my top 3 is, would be Azumi-chan is interested in lesbian brothels. I already explained why I like this one in my review of it a couple months ago, or a couple weeks ago. Not sure anymore. But despite the fact that it does involve a lot of like prostitution, as the name implies, the story is super cute, super wholesome. Like you could literally remove the whole brothel thing and change it to something like rental girlfriends, and the story would still work and be probably even cuter. But the way it's told, the story is cute, even though it's really heavy on fan service. This is definitely something you do not want to read in public, no matter what people say. It's cute, but like it's rated mature for a reason. And there's a warning tag on the back of the book as well. Alright, so we're now in the top 3. So if you watch my other top 20 video, you already know what my top 3 is. So I'm probably not gonna waste as much time with these one. Ironic because it's the top 3, but third place is Happy Sugar Life. Whoa. I just hit myself with a book. Happy Sugar Life, which was 19th place in my top 20 favorite series of all times. This was a surprising one because I keep mentioning I don't like drama. I'm not really a fan of psychological horror, and somehow I still love this series a bit. It was my third favorite discoveries of all times. Maybe, no, I'd say third, but probably fourth actually, because I discovered Yuri, A Place Further Than the Universe, and Laid Back Camp in early 2021. This one in March 2021. So four favorite discoveries of in 2021, and as you can see, it's now safely secured in third place for favorite Yuri, unless I find something like better. Because for second place, How Do I Turn My Best Friend Into My Girlfriend? This is one series that I just read one volume and it's already in my top, like, it was 14th place in my top 20 series of all time. I just love the two characters are super cute. The story is so far super cute. There's a tiny little bit of drama, but it's actually what led to the main girl realizing she loves her best friend. And yeah, I just love the art side. Like the picture on the back of the book is just so freaking adorable. And this is basically what the art style is through the entire thing, except they're like high school students. And last but not least, or should I say first and definitely not least, the one Yuri series that I probably won't shut up about. I made a review of it a couple months ago, and it was 8th place in my favorite series of all time. But Tadakoro-san is definitely my favorite Yuri of all time. I fell in love instantly. I actually read the Doujinshi a couple years ago. I did like it, but I wasn't a huge fan of it. And when I saw this, I was like, oh, he actually made the mangaka actually made um, the series into an actual physical book. I kind of liked it, so might as well pick it up. But then I realized it was actually like a reboot. It follows the same stories overall, same two character, and I noticed a lot of scenes that are similar to the doujinshi that I read. But this one is for some reason so much better, and I fell in love so quickly that as soon as I read it, I went to the store and bought Volume 2, which was available at my manga store. Uh, I really hope that my manga store will get Volume 3 soon. Actually, how about we check uh, if it is available? As you can see, I still have the Citrus Plus, Citrus Volume 3 thing open, but let's just see. Oh, it doesn't look like it's available yet. I'm pretty sure it's available. I'm pretty sure it's available in France because I think Volume 4 was supposed to release sometime this month in France. So Volume 3 is probably available in France, but sadly it's not available in Canada yet. So yeah. So again, I'm gonna make a quick recap of my top 20 Yuri series of all times among the series that I own. In 20th place, Futari Escape. In 19th place, Blooming to You. In 18th place, Failed Princesses. In 17th place, Does It Count If You Lose Your Virginity to Android? 16th place, I Married My Female Friend. 15th place, Catch These N. 14th place, the two of them are pretty much like this. 13th place, Hana and Ina After School. 12th place, Goodbye My Rose Garden. 11th place, Citrus. 10th place, Girlfriends. 9th place, Our Wonderful Days. 8th place, Kaze-san, the Kaze-san series. 7th place, Futaribeya. 6th place, I Don't Know Which Is Love. 5th place, Cheerful Amnesia. 4th place, Azumi-chan is Interested in Lesbian Brothels. 3rd place, Happy Sugar Life. 2nd place, How Do I Turn My Best Friend Into My Girlfriend? And 1st place, Tadakoro-san. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time. Probably next week.